What's up, surfers? Welcome to the Toxic Waves Podcast. I'm your host, Loscopic.
I am Don Jar Jar in the mix. And this is episode 1 of the official Toxic Waves Podcast, Six Flags Ghost Girl. Oh yeah, this is going to be an interesting yet a very kind of unsettling topic somewhat, but some would say kind of interesting. You know, this has been something that's been around for a very, very long time. I mean, this is literally like a century, if not centuries, years old.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like, if you don't know about the Six Flags Ghost Girl, I'll give you a little brief of who she is. Her name is Annie. If you're wondering what the last name is, we're just as curious as you are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We couldn't. Yeah, there's just some stuff you just can't find if it's just that old.
And if you do know or happen to know where that stuff's at, please let us know. But I mean, I'm sure they do that for certain reasons, like disclosure and shit and stuff like that.
Kind of privacy. I mean,
yeah,
could be like a family involved that they don't even know
Mm-hmm.
is like their relative.
Yeah.
All right, so before we continue on with this subject, we do want to say this is sensitive. This is a very sad subject to some viewers. This is also very unsettling, like I said in the beginning. So if you do find this a little bit disturbing, I'm just giving you the warning now. Please be advised. Thank you. I would say the reason why we chose this is because, well, spoiler alert, it hits a little close to home. Just because, it's not too far. I mean, Six Flags over Texas is literally how far is it?
It's like right in our backyards.
Literally. So this is obviously something that it's easy to discuss about, but also kind of very difficult because I was really trying to dig into this, and man, it really took some digging because when something is around the 1900s, 100 years old, whew, that's like trying to look for dinosaur bones in the desert. It's fucking rough,
Yeah, and it's because there's multiple Six Flags across the nation.
Yeah,
right.
It's why is it that our specific? Well, maybe I don't know that, but for now, it's in Texas, our Six Flags is the one that has the haunted ghost.
Really?
Yeah, because there's the one in San Antonio,
and then there's Magic Mountain.
I think that's called. I forgot what that one was called, but
yeah,
Magic Mountain.
Yeah. It's interesting, yeah, and for some reason, bro, it's I was talking to you about this earlier, but how there's some places that have them just mannequins sitting at tables.
Oh my god!
And it's just it just gives an eerie vibe sometimes.
That's how I feel whenever I was kind of looking at this. It's very eerie.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, some employees would mention that, oh, this is a friendly ghost, quote unquote. It's
Really?
a friendly spirit. It's not trying to do any harm. It's just trying to claim her home. Because, it passed away. She passed away in that area that, well, technically Six Flags built over. And it's if you're wondering what the area is, it is the Yellow Candy Shop, and it's kind of looks like a little farmhouse.
Yeah.
Just it's not that big. It's pretty small. It's actually a little bit of an upper deck. I wonder if that's for floods. I don't know.
Could be.
But it's it's up there. If you just I can't tell you specifically where it is, but if you go to Six Flags over Texas, I'm sure you will 90% most of the time probably walk near that section.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'll put an image up on the screen right now.
Oh my god. There it is.
Yeah.
It is literally right there. I mean, they don't even care about oh, this could potentially be haunted. Someone could.
You were saying something about the window too, right?
Yeah, so apparently there have been some people claiming that people and employees, so customers and employees, be claiming that they can sometimes see Andy peeping out the window, which sounds insane because it's if this ghost is literally just teasing people just at an amusement park, what is this ghost's intentions?
Damn, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's an innocent ghost, but how innocent?
I wonder what
or is it innocent? That's just in question.
And who's the ghost again?
Annie.
Weird. Okay.
It is a little girl. She was, oh man, I believe she was, they said, 8 years old.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I know one thing for sure is it's very tragic what happened because,
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously tragic if a child drowns in the lake. I mean, everyone knows La Llorona, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no one wants that to happen to them. So this kind of situation happening, but still kind of random, ain't it? Just random how it's like at Six Flags over Texas, a place where as kids,
I almost wonder.
we just roam through as kids and just casually walking by a spirit.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, literally, the spirit is in this house just peeping at us.
Yeah.
And there's even times where employees have claimed, like, during the night shift hours, like closing hours, the lights will turn to flicker off and on.
Oh, hell.
By itself.
Really?
That's what they claim. They claim that. I mean, I have yet to see footage of it happening. Maybe it's because Six Flags tries to keep it on the low sometimes.
Yeah.
If it is
that
true.
That makes sense. Yeah,
but
they are a business.
Because I genuinely do believe whenever these people talk about they've seen it, they don't look like they're scared or anything. They actually look like, oh, it was cool.
And like they have no reason to lie.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like you see the lights flicker and it's like, okay, well, maybe the light bulb is just old.
Yeah.
I assume. But then again, it's like,
wouldn't Six Flags have changed them out?
Yeah.
And it's like,
take out the light bulb.
Word.
Or just leave it dead. Why would they even care about it just still being there?
Yeah.
Honestly, it is pretty creepy, but it is pretty funny how it's literally like behind a like concession at Six Flags. It's called Old Time Parlor.
And it used to be a candy shop.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's pretty creepy, but yet again, it's actually kind of fascinating because it's like, if this really is a thing, why is this ghost friendly?
Yeah. What makes them believe that,
and why isn't it trying to, like, get into someone's body? I'm not trying to say all ghosts are intentionally trying to do that, but I'm just saying, like, they claim this ghost is a friendly one. Why is it a friendly one?
She was 8 years old, right?
Yeah. It's a little girl. I'm thinking if you're a little girl, you're scared. Maybe, like, you don't know what's going on, and just maybe a little upset. But I would see, like, friendly. Like, just roaming around. Some security guards have claimed they have seen footage of her, like, roaming during the footage. I think that might be a little cap. But it could be real. I mean, I'm not going to disclose it.
I'm trying to empathize with Annie a little bit. It's like, I wonder if she almost feels like a child that's trapped in an amusement park,
Maybe, or honestly, no, because they claim that she just wants to stay there. Like, it's her home. And, like, this is, like, she loves the idea of, like, she can see all the people. And, like, it's her amusement park. And the only time she would come out is, like, during the night when it's closed.
Wow.
Like, it sounds cool, but at the same time, imagine you're just, like, a night shift guard.
Yeah.
And you're working there and just, you randomly have to look at your footage and you notice just some, like, weird object is moving through your screen. Oh, man.
Wow.
They say that spirits don't technically look too much like body figures when it's caught on security footage. It kind of looks more like blur, like a light that blurs.
Yeah.
Like a big ball or a speck that floats through your
like
screen.
Some orbs or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I've seen those like images.
I feel like that may be what an actual footage caught might be, but
dang.
I mean, it's easy to infiltrate that.
I ain't even gonna lie, I got goosebumps there for a second.
So I'm about to pull up the footage of the actual lake here.
Yeah, pull it up, man.
This is the lake that she supposedly drowned in. This is, wow. I mean, I'm looking at it, there's a lot of trees. Jeez. During the night. Oh my gosh. There's that bridge right there. That bridge, under that bridge, supposedly is where it happened.
Right there?
Wow. I mean, it's eerie because it's like, this is literally in our backyard, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that we could that ass just walk and pay for and just go see ourselves. People have done it. They literally, this is kind of a lure attraction to some ghost hunters. They're like, let's go see if Annie is real.
Yeah.
And some people claim that she definitely is. So, I like to see it for myself. So
It is kind of interesting.
Interesting.
I haven't
Here's
been.
another picture.
Dang, dude, and that's at night.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know what. Oh yeah, that's the section where that one roller coaster is. You know that? Not. It kind of feels like the Texas Giant, but it's the minier one, the one that's white.
Yeah.
I think that's the one it's near.
The
If
wooden
not,
one.
then it's near the Titan.
I
don't
think
know.
they took down that roller coaster recently.
No, really?
Yeah, it was made out of wood, bro. Like it was. Yeah, they might have took it down. I wonder.
Isn't the
actually.
Texas Giant made of wood?
It used to be as well. No, it's made out of steel now. But yeah, it's near like the Titan and that old roller coaster, and I don't know what else is nearby there. I think that tall one that spins around all the way to the top. Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's weird because I only been to Six Flags like I'd say a handful of times in my life, but
So how many times?
like I'd say no more than 3 or 4.
Okay.
And the last time I went surprisingly was like last year, but I hadn't gone since like I was like half my age type shit, like since I was like 10 type shit. Yeah, bro, like real shit. It was okay a different world, bro.
Wow.
And like I could have sworn every time I went, bro, I always felt like there was a pair of eyes. I mean, yeah, let alone there's a bunch of people around you, but I like something that would watch you from like where nobody else
just something
was.
watching you. Just
Yeah.
like it's not even the fact that it's creepy that something's there. It's the fact that something could just peep out the window and just...
And I'm not even talking about like surveillance. I'm talking about like on some other shit. Just like
what
straight,
the hell is her intentions?
Yeah, like just straight observing like what's going on, you know? Just straight observation.
And you want to know something too?
What?
Annie is not the first death that happened at Six Flags.
Wait, what?
Annie, well, she's the death that happened at the Johnson Creek, but she's not the one that died at the Six Flags area due to, obviously, the failures and accidents due to the rides. There's been plenty of people who have passed away due to malfunctions of roller coasters at Six Flags.
Yeah.
How have we not heard stories of hauntings from those victims? Let me pull up something. So, in 1968, there was a ride attendant. His name is John. He accidentally lost his balance and plunged to his death while loading in a ride called the El Sombrero.
Oh, I remember that.
This was 1968. Fast forward, 1999. A 29-year-old woman in Arkansas died in a river rafting ride. And it claimed that the ride machinery had flipped the raft over. Wow. So she died by drown and possibly being crushed.
Damn.
Very, that made me feel uncomfortable. But even then, those are like within like the 1900s. This is within now, 2011. A 64-year-old woman was found unresponsive in a lazy river at the park of Hurricane Harbor.
What?
The expansion, bro. Hurricane Harbor, the water park.
Yeah.
And then in 2013, a 15-year-old woman fell from the Texas Giant. Everyone knows that one.
Yeah.
That's the infamous Texas Giant death, and that's not the only one. And there's more. I mean, there is obviously more, but just clearly it's very uncomfortable knowing that there's so many deaths that can happen at an amusement park, yet we don't know the history fully of that place. And Annie is supposedly the one spirit that runs that park.
You know why I think that could be?
Because I really wonder.
No one else is buried there. Annie's body was left there.
That's true.
I'm assuming.
You know what? That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because she drowned at that lake,
and I'm assuming like, you know,
her body wasn't found.
Exactly.
So that can make perfect sense of why the real reason her body is fermented and placed and she runs the streets of Six Flags. But still, this is like decades, years and decades of people passing away and just at this amusement park.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be maybe just a curse that Annie had brought to the park? Maybe that she wasn't intending, but it happened? Because there has been a lot of deaths at this specific park, Six Flags over Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know it's a lot to comprehend.
Yeah. I'm processing it as I'm listening to it. Like, it's peculiar, man. It's eerie to think about. It's paranormal shit.
Paranormal.
You know? It's paranormal, quite literally.
You know, I
Yeah.
feel like the more you think about it, the more you're kind of just like, you're into the idea of, oh man, I really want to get to know this Annie, but then again, I don't want to step any boundaries.
Yeah.
Gotta pay respect to if any relative at all knows anything about this person, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and to, of course, all the victims out there, we give you all of our condolences.
Once again.
Because seriously, it's very tragic deaths. I
Yeah.
mean, very tragic. I mean, just, I can't even imagine the feeling of you're trying to go have the time of your life, but then that's your due date.
Mm-hmm.
That seriously gives you an awful feeling. Did you think that Annie possibly might have committed suicide?
As an 8-year-old child, I can't answer that surely, but no.
Just drowned? She tripped?
Yeah.
I wonder how it played out, because we saw the lake. How does someone
And
drown in
who's to
this
say
lake?
she wasn't killed?
And let's look at the area of the lake real quick. This is during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
This is when the water kind of has died down, because, you know, the water fills up once it rains, or, you know, during the pond seasons, I guess you say. But there's the specific bridge again. And, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it, and it's like, how would someone just... Well, I guess a little girl, right? She would fall in the water and doesn't know how to swim.
Yeah.
Just... I mean...
It can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's just... It's very... I wish I could say... I want to know what happened, but then again, I kind of don't. You know, because this is a topic that's older than a lot of companies that are on today.
That's the majority, yeah.
Majority of companies, literally, that are in the stock market today. Like, this is a very old story.
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny because I like that this is our first topic that we're discussing because of how old it really is. This is like 1900s, early 1800s.
Yeah.
Like, this is legit like times where, like, we weren't even thoughts.
We were somewhere else.
I have this picture, and it could be a little disturbing, but this is claimed to be an actual sighting of Annie. And this is it's a famous picture. Like, a lot of ghost hunters use this picture whenever they discuss this topic because it is the very infamous picture of what they claim is the actual Annie spirit. I'm about to pull it up, and I want you to tell me, like, well, how you think.
Okay.
So right now, we're looking at the park, and there's the roller coaster, the old school wooden roller coaster.
Yeah, that one.
And if you zoom in right there,
You kind of see this sort of, like...
there is a figure that is definitely the size of a child. Not a man, not a woman. This is definitely a kid figure. It doesn't look like an animal either. Mm-hmm. It looks like a kid. And it is not very visible, but it is also very clear as day.
Yeah, and if you look like at what the child's wearing, it almost looks like it would match
a blouse.
Yeah,
like a black flower blouse. Mm-hmm. It looks like that
with like a collar,
and it kind of looks like maybe she had a ponytail.
Yeah, I get those vibes too. I kind of see that, and almost like something they would wear back in those days, in those times. You know,
there it is. You know, there's the area. Oh, and there's that pond lake area.
Yeah,
they have it obviously boarded up. And there's a picture of the sun right there because it's during the day.
That's the sun?
It's either the sun or that's the moon. I don't know.
We gotta zoom in on that. That's a little questionable for the sun.
I don't know what that is.
I look at the image, right? And I noticed that they added a whole lot of grain to this. A whole lot of sharpness to it.
A little bit.
I mean, that's very easily edited.
Oh, obviously. I'm just saying this is the most infamous photo that is out there because
it's the only real
this is
sighting.
The only real sighting, exactly. And you gotta understand, this photo is not from within this decade. This photo is literally from, like, if I remember correctly, it's from 1960 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This is a photo from literally the 60s.
I didn't know that.
So this is, even if it is edited, it would have to be like edited from like within a certain timeline.
So that photo's from the 1960s, but it was released in the 1960s, or when was it released to the public?
In the 60s, it made the papers.
It made the papers in the 60s?
Yes.
Really?
Or in the 60s, did it make the papers?
Because,
Yes, because that was the sighting of Annie,
okay.
the spirit, and that's when it became infamous.
Okay.
I have the actual.
Because I was thinking, if it's from the 60s and it got released like within the past decade or two, like it's very likely that that can be edited. It's something to check in case needing to be ruled out. But it's interesting.
Oh yeah, one thing for sure is like, oh, it's actually near that. I don't know if a lot of people have been to Six Flags over Texas, but if you know where the railroad train is,
Yeah.
if you've been on there, you actually do pass by the lake, and you
Really?
get a very clear view of that lake. Yeah,
I saw it.
That's real.
Actually.
like if you've ever been on that train ride, you don't know. Obviously, we don't know. We're kids, but if you know, like if you're a ghost hunter and you're actually trying to go search for Annie,
Yeah.
you actually do pass by that lake and that actual infamous bridge. So yeah, I wanted to show you that picture because it's like I really do think it could be real, but then again, anything can be spoofed.
Yeah, it's possible, but I also don't fully not believe it either.
You can't take anything out of question.
Yeah.
For the most part, I would say Annie is definitely not a dangerous spirit. So she's not someone to worry about. So, I mean, I do question why. Why is she not a dangerous spirit? But then again, if you think about it, it's possibly a 7 or 8 year old girl.
Yeah.
A very young girl who clearly is just trying to enjoy maybe her time at an amusement park.
We never know.
Or maybe she's trying to look for her next body.
So she could be dangerous.
Ooh.
She could be a danger.
The mysteries,
Yeah.
She could be. She could secretly just be like stalking her next victim. Like, do you ever wonder like if spirits are like, I wonder if they see me? And then when they are seen, that's when they have to like.
It's interesting, like the whole like why is there so much paranormal like footage out there, and why do only certain people experience and some never experience it?
I would have to say maybe it's those who come across it at some point. Like
Yeah.
if you've ever come across dealing with the spiritual realm at any time, like maybe just playing or card tarots or whatever, anything like that, or maybe even just any type of voodoo or whatever,
Yeah.
or just even coming across just like, I guess maybe something what people would claim as possessed, like I would say even a Ouija board maybe could even be like not really a force but a doorway. Like I say, like a Ouija board could be like a door that you open for the spirit realm. Just like they can go through, like, but obviously they would need your permission, which is tricky because you don't give them permission, but you do. Wink, wink.
You have to be careful.
Exactly.
Very careful.
It's, it's unsettling, but at the same time, I mean, reality, yeah, I mean, you're not really going to deal with paranormal phenomenon. The only way you could is if possibly you've encountered it once in your life, or maybe you're just really into it. Like maybe you like it a lot. Maybe it's just your deal. But I just say for the most part, my deal is I just want to understand. I want to understand like the whys and why nots.
Yeah.
I like the idea of figuring out like, okay, here's this spirit that they claim is friendly, but why is it a friendly spirit? Or why is it not? Why is it not an unfriendly spirit? Like, why is it not trying to come after a victim? Maybe a child that it sees, another girl that could be exactly like her.
Yeah.
Or maybe a relative. Maybe she's looking and searching for a relative.
I'm curious to know if anyone gets temporarily possessed at Six Flags, and by the time they leave, like Annie just decides to stay.
It could. I mean,
I'm curious now to like.
Do you think if someone ever did an exorcism at Six Flags, she'll pop up? Maybe.
Dang.
Maybe. We don't want to mess with her though. I think she's fine.
I don't want to mess with
There's a lot of other
nobody
spirits that definitely deserve to be
from the spirit
removing, other than spirits that I think are just like not even a bother.
Like, would you ever do a Ouija board?
Hell no.
Yeah, I've never done that.
I mean, I know some people would do it just because they're like, they don't believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to make the mockery of it.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm like, you should be careful still.
And it's
because
funny.
even if it's a funny subject or topic for you,
it's not funny. But
it's not. Well, I'm just saying to them, you know, if someone doesn't believe in it and they just treat it like mockery, a joke.
Yeah.
I'm just like, look, be very careful because you can step into a door that you have no fucking clue you're getting into.
Right, because I've never seen someone play it and nothing happen. You know what I mean? Like, I've always seen something happen when someone plays, like whether it's like videos.
Do you think they have like exorcisms in 2023?
Do they have exorcism? Yeah, absolutely.
Do they have to keep it discreet, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't make it public because if it's public, I mean,
can't record something like that. I'd imagine, like you see it in the movies. Imagine someone in the corner just
God.
I don't think that's very that's something. I mean, I'm sure someone's done
Pope's
it.
exorcist.
I'm sure we could pull it up, but then it would be questionable as to like how someone recorded that. You know what I mean? And we'll never truly know if it was actually real. So it's like we'll never know for sure if someone's actually recorded during something like that happening, but I wouldn't do it, you know.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like. Look, I like to research, and I'm kind of one of those guys who's like, oh, that's interesting, you know. Like I kind of like to find out cool things, you know. And also I'm kind of the guy who likes to look into the unsettled, you know.
Yeah.
I don't find a thrill off of it, but I do like it, you know. I do like to research into it because I'm just like, ooh, that's actually pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like this could be another episode we could do, but there's this other place that's near our area called River Legacy.
Oh, okay.
And it's the story of the drowning kids. Yes.
Another.
Yes.
Really?
This is from a school bus.
How recent?
Oh, damn. Let me look it up real quick. Because
school bus. I feel like I've read like a freaking ghost story.
It's pretty out there. It's called The Screaming Bridge, and it's at River Legacy.
What?
And it was like, not a school bus. It was a car full of kids. My bad.
Okay.
It was a car full of kids, and they were coming to the bridge, and there was another car that came, and you get the picture. You know, we can save that for another episode. But I do say that I kind of do find it interesting that any kind of toys with her fans. Do you ever think it like that? Like, do you think like she's just kind of like, oh, you know, like kind of like the fish in the water where they jump out the water just to tease the fishermen? They're kind of like, hey, you can't catch me.
I can't fully.
It's kind of like with Annie. She's like, hey, y'all can't see me.
I can't fully say.
But then you do see her, and that's when it's like, oh.
Yeah, I can't fully say why Annie does what she does, but what I can say is we don't know why. You know, it's funny. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, we'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with not knowing because it's like, it is obviously too old for any of us to care. But it is something to care about, kind of, because if this is a spirit that literally visits us whenever it pleases, how is that not a topic that we bring up in 2023? Like,
it's worthy.
There's literally a spirit that comes and says what's up to its people. You know, it's like, hey, y'all, even not just through a window, just like it'll peep. I really would be interested in trying to go to Six Flags to maybe possibly catch something. It'll never happen. But, you know, it'd be cool because it's like, I think that is what brings a little bit of excitement towards ghost hunters and people who are into the unknown. They kind of like the idea of a mystery. And this Annie girl is probably the biggest mystery in Arlington, where it's like, what is this ghost's intentions? Like, why is it here? Why is it at this amusement park? Well, we know the whys, I guess, because her body drowned at that park, right?
Yeah.
But The question is why hasn't it descended
Yeah.
into the greater org? You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes I
why
feel.
is it lingering on? Is it trying to find closure? Maybe it's like I said, trying to find a relative.
Have you seen American Horror Story?
American Horror Story. I'm gonna be honest, a little bit, not too much.
So the first season, I think, was the season that primarily focused on that a lot. Where it's like when a body, dies at a certain place,
Mm-hmm.
it gets trapped there. So like in the house, that's where like the spirits
Yes.
were, and they weren't able to move on until the house got burned down. You know, I wonder if like,
Whoa.
yeah,
You're saying like maybe if the park shuts down, that's when Annie goes?
could it be?
Wow. Or not even like
Because
what if
she's
they
not
just
able to
decide
move on.
what if they just decide to close off that area? You know, cuz they could just decide to expand it, you know?
If they close off that area, she'll still remain.
Well, no, I mean like destroy the area.
Oh. Yeah, because what if that's what's holding her back from, moving on? Because I believe
But
that.
yeah, no, I
you
kind
need
of
to
do
move
believe
on.
in the more shutting down Six Flags. That would, whoa. We're not encouraging that, by the way.
No.
But we are saying, like, he is saying, he's trying to make the point of, like, if this ghost is to go to a greater or, in order for it to go on, it would have to go on with what the body died with, like, what it clinged on to.
Yeah.
So that would be the lake. Or that would either be the lake or the house.
Yeah.
The house is more realistic, yeah.
And as as a young child, it's like,
Can you just real quick try to be in her shoes? Just
Yeah.
like let's try to imagine we're Annie in the 1900s. No phone, no technology, zero, probably zero. Would you even think like phones existed?
no.
Like
No.
no phones at all. Like no communication.
Yeah.
Like we're not even talking like no phones like from our era to like the flip phones. We're talking like there was not even those telephone poles or those poles that are like those old connector plug poles. I don't know what they're called, but you know those you spin it.
Oh, the phone, the wall phones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I could put one up on the screen if, like, the listeners don't know.
Yeah. But I know one thing for sure. Oh.
Yeah.
I am actually very eager to dig into more of the stuff that we find out.
Mm-hmm.
I really am because
Oh, yeah.
I think Annie is like, even though she's an old story, she's a very cool story.
Yeah.
We could definitely give her those props of like, okay, you're definitely a story that can interest a lot of people still for probably the next century to come.
Yeah, and it's like, this is just like the quick brief, like by the way, in case y'all didn't know about this, but we could really go into much further depth about like how we feel about it, and the whole, like, if there's even like, how far does this, like, I want to say conspiracy, but how far does this like urban legend go? You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
do know that Johnson Creek, the original park, I do have where it was originally like, it was originally introduced into Texas around 1810,
Yeah.
and it was established, and it wasn't even a park at first.
Like,
apparently.
Texas had a whole
It just
different
had
constitution.
a Lincoln area.
that
And then
year.
it officially became Johnson in 1852.
Word.
So Johnson Creek officially was that place in 1852, so on.
And we have to think about what Texas was like historically speaking at that time.
Oh,
period.
wow,
It
probably
wasn't
like-
even under the same constitution.
Probably not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was
Maybe
like
split in
in
half.
regards to the state constitution. Like, I know for a fact Texas wasn't under the same one. Like, I think it's 1876.
Very different era.
Yeah, very different, bro. Like, for all we know, like, just battles and going on, skirmishes going on left and right at the time.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people who can understand maybe what Annie went through, just like at that moment where it's just like you're just a kid wandering around. We've all been there, just wandering around, probably in a forest area, just playing, exploring, just having your imagination.
Yeah.
And secondly, you just make that wrong move, make that wrong slip, that wrong fall, and you can just pass. That's just how it is sometimes. I mean, I remember one time as a kid, I was playing with a couple of friends in this playground area, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to be a bit of a show off because I was kind of like that kid who was like, "Oh, I'm so strong," or
Yeah.
you know.
Been
So
there.
there was this giant rock that was attached. It wasn't even a rock. It was like a large piece of concrete that was like the sun. It was bigger than my head, and it was connected to this those long metal wires,
Oh shit.
those metal bars, you
Yeah.
know.
Uh-huh.
And I would pick it up and I would act like, it's like a fucking hammer. And
Damn.
little, I'm just doing it back and forth. I was trying to copy a video game I used to play. It was called Warlords,
Oh yeah.
War of Warlords, and literally I was trying to be that big ass troll that has that huge rock and he just crushes all the soldiers. I was trying to be like that, and little did I know I was gonna do something completely stupid, and I lifted that rock. I didn't have a good balance, and I tried balancing it by using my head, and I ended up smacking my head super hard with the concrete. And as I put it down, I just remember for a split second, I kind of was just like, oh, like, I did it. Like, nothing happened. Too
Yeah.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, everyone just kind of froze for, like, a little bit. Just kind of, like, everyone just freezing, and they're staring at me, and it's just like, what? And then literally, I pat my head one time on my right side. I pat my head, and I look, and my whole hand is covered in red.
Nuh-uh.
Covered in blood.
Damn.
And my head was straight dripping blood all over. And my cousin had to like rush real quick and give me his bandana to cover the wound. And it was so fucking scary because it was just like, what the hell? That's so much blood.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, what did I just do?
What the fuck?
Like, I seriously thought like I had to go to the hospital. Like, I was scared, but I didn't cry or anything.
What the hell?
I didn't cry because it was just like, well, what the heck? Like, am I gonna die? Like, what's gonna happen? I was more just like, what's gonna happen to me than
Bro,
feeling sad.
You're low-key a survivor, bro.
And then we just went back to the office nurse area, and she just kind of like taped me up real quick, just kind of gave me a stitch, and then
What?
just patted up with some alcohol.
I'm thinking you're like Brody's like needing like 2 pints of blood donated to him or something. Like,
No, I very much have that blood back.
I'm like, okay. I'm just thinking like, bro lost a lot of blood.
I did.
Damn, bro.
I was very tired.
Like, I'm thinking like head-on collision. Like, I'm thinking like Brody got like brain
A lot
damage.
a lot of my fellow friends were pretty. They were kind of like, damn, this guy's pretty like, it's pretty tough for not crying.
Shit.
I mean, honestly, I wanted to cry. Like, I seriously did, but I was more just scared of like, what's gonna happen to me?
Oh my god.
Like what the fuck? I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was just like, I'm bleeding and I won't stop, and it just keeps going, and it's just like, I don't know what I did. I just, because just
Yeah.
those little thoughts, because you're a kid.
Yeah.
You're a kid. You're just like, you're not thinking of life or death.
Mm-mm.
You're thinking just play,
Play.
have fun,
Oh,
and
God.
then that happens to you, and then you're like, oh my god, this is actually happening. What the heck? I could just imagine Annie in that moment.
Yeah.
Just like she falls,
Mm-hmm.
she lands in the water. You know she has a brief moment to think, oh my god, what, how, why,
What's going on?
Yes. What's gonna happen to me?
Get me out of here.
This is it. That split second. Oh my god, that's just so sad. It's so sad.
It's
just
a sad
thinking
story.
about it.
It's a really sad story.
It is, but honestly, I do like that we can honor her memory, because it's not really we're tearing her apart. It's we're kind of just trying to figure her out, because she is an interesting subject to a lot of people who live in the Arlington area. For it's like, she's there, apparently. To a lot of people, she's there. To a lot of people who don't believe, I mean, obviously they're gonna, just not hear what they say,
Yeah.
But to those who do, they genuinely do think, oh yeah, well, because you can think it's real, but then you can obviously believe that, okay, well, that is obviously a fake story. But I do think that if this is keeping a consistency of 100 years plus,
Mm-hmm.
this could possibly be very real.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would definitely never count out anything, but I might just count out on the fact that it's not. Just a little favoritism. But Annie would appreciate that.
Yeah, for something that I've lived on this long, it's backed up a lot, you know.
Yes.
And while there is a lot of people that would like to make
I don't know,
this
like, what are
kind of
your
thing,
general thoughts on the whole thing? Just this whole story in general, like, oh, this is literally, we can go drive there right now. Well, not right now, but,
we could,
well, we could, yeah, it's open. Oh my God.
yeah,
Literally. But we could literally go drive there right now.
yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that?
I know not to do that. Like I would like to,
Well,
but
no, I'm not saying let's do it. I'm just saying, how does it feel knowing you have that option to do it?
yeah, it's like knowing that I have that option.
Because we definitely have a lot of areas around this city that have history
Yeah,
that we can definitely discuss about on Toxic Waves.
heck yeah.
But seriously, how do you feel like about the whole thing?
Knowing that we're capable of doing that and possibly getting closer to it is exciting, but I know that that can also open a door that might not be as simple to close as it was to open. And because of that, I'm okay with not knowing the
Right.
full disclosure behind, like, you know, because it might not even be available to us in this, like, plane we're
Mhm.
on, you know. She's, like, in the spiritual realm, but she's trapped from what we see in our realm, the third dimension, you know? So it's like,
We don't know what she's actually seeing.
yeah. And she doesn't know what we're seeing either.
Or
Because,
maybe she does see us.
but maybe she doesn't know that we see her,
Oh.
you know? And so when she's looking out the window, she might not see us.
Yeah, that could be true. Maybe she just peeps out the window just out of, oh, well, no one's even here. Like, how does she even know that there are people around her?
Yeah, you know?
Especially, the lights flickering is kind of, that's the where I'm like, well, I don't know how that can be, because it's like, that could either be definitely on purpose, or that can be, like, inconvenient for them. Like, it could literally be a made up, that part, but still, I'm like, that would be pretty interesting if, like, they know for a fact, like, people go in there and they turn, well, actually, they claim no one ever goes in there ever. So that's the part where I'm like, okay, so it is claimed no one ever goes in there. So if that's the case, this light just flickers and it's 100 years old. Is this building 100 years old?
Yeah, like, what the heck?
Like, where is this all comprehending right now?
Yeah, where is it leading to?
Because it's like, what are her intentions? But not even then. What is the intention of leaving that building there? Why hasn't it been taken down yet? They could have easily just scrapped it, put something new, because they put new rides all the time. Rides come and go. Places come and go. Why isn't that house gone yet?
Yeah.
Because they know something. They know something we don't. I feel like they probably know everything behind the Annie story, but they can't close it out to the public. Maybe because, one, it's a very old story and no one gives a shit. But two,
Not true.
not true, but and today, like, it wouldn't be as effective as it probably would have been, say, during the time and period. But even then, even during the 1900s, you know.
Yeah, but the
But
bigger reason is
today,
because they're
you know,
a
the
business.
present.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it could possibly just collide with their business too roughly if they do have that story revealed, so they have it deep down away. Any footage of her, deep down away.
Yeah, because then Six Flags would low-key get a lawsuit,
Yes.
you know? Or they could.
They have faced multiple lawsuits. I'm sure they're not trying to deal with another one from a 100-year-old case.
I mean, like you said, a lot of deaths go on there. You know,
Exactly.
sometimes the roller coasters are at blame. And
And trust me, I hate to say this, but it's not going to stop. There are going to be deaths at Six Flags that are due to roller coaster malfunctions, because it happens.
It's an old amusement park.
Yeah, it happens. I'll tell you what, I do love the history behind it, though. I love the history behind Six
It's
Flags Over
fascinating.
Texas because it really is one of the OG parks.
It's fascinating, yeah.
It's very old. It's older than a lot of states.
There's so much history there.
Dude, just, I love, we
Every
could literally talk about this for hours.
yeah, every day more.
We could
and more
talk about this
history.
for hours. Like, I could honestly just try to do a deep dive of who she is, like,
It's never
where
a
she
dull
was
moment.
from.
It's never a dull moment. At
Never
Six
could get a
Flags.
last name, though. That's the part where it's like, that's the part where they're probably keeping it away from us.
Yeah,
Remove every site that cracked the case.
and it might be for the best. Who knows, man?
I would say, because, like I said, I mean, we love this case, but then again, it is very old. I keep repeating it. We're very young. We're very young, and this is very old. But no, it's cool. It's history. It really is history, and I think Six Flags knows that. That's why they keep it there, because they know it has history. Supposedly,
Yeah, they keep it there, but they don't fully disclose it for their behalf.
they're just like, you know what? Let them do their thing.
Like this might attract more people, but the more we give them, the less it'll attract as well.
Yep.
They knew what they were doing.
They
with
know what
this.
they're doing.
Wow.
They know exactly what they're doing. Businesses know exactly what they're doing when it comes to stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to hauntings or possessions or any sightings of spirits being clinged on,
Yeah.
they always are just gonna dig it under the rug just because it's like it's very unnecessary to bring it up upon their business, you know?
Yeah, because if you don't believe in that kind of stuff,
Yeah, because
you're gonna go.
There are those who don't obviously believe in what this is, so they're gonna be like, okay, enough with the fairy tales.
But on the flip side, you're gonna have your believers, and that's also gonna want to make them go there.
It's always 50-50.
So it's genius on their behalf, you know. It's genius, but I want to say in a malintentional kind of way, but yeah. I mean, it sucks that they're using like Annie's, you know, like case.
I don't
Not-
think it sucks.
Not case, but like what happened to her as like
Oh, well, her death, yes.
As
That's very tragic.
as like a meal.
Yeah, a meal ticket. I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, not a meal ticket, but yeah, like they're just reeling in money with that, you know.
Yes. It's like, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
But,
it sucks.
it really does. I mean, I can't imagine just like I tragically pass away and years and years later I'm just remembered because I'm an attraction at an amusement park.
And it's not like you see a damn sign or a damn memorial somewhere.
Yeah,
They're
you don't.
saying
There's definitely not going to be any type of like advertisements
yeah,
whatsoever
not an ad
saying like, hey, there's. Well, I'm just trying to say like they're not going to advertise at the park like, hey, here's Annie.
They don't do
this
no-
is her house.
They don't do no in loving memories.
Exactly. Like they don't be like, this is Annie's house. This is her history. Say hello to her. You know, it's
Yeah.
just, well, if you know it, you know it. And
It's
if you
so-
don't, then who cares?
It almost makes me like look at Six Flags differently, bro.
That's how they do it. They're just like, if you know it, you know it. And if you don't, then who cares?
Yeah.
Because we're still alive, well, thriving, all over the world.
Yeah.
We don't care about one spot. you
Yeah,
know?
if one shuts down, we still have plenty more. That's wild.
It's kind of, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's a big hurt. It's a big hit, but still.
I blame them for a
And
lot
like,
of
who
things.
who owns Six Flags? I'm sure they own Knott's Berry Farm.
I could call out that person right now.
What?
The person who owns Six Flags.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
Oh
Well-
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but like I'm more so thinking the company that owns them. You know what I'm saying? Because Six Flags, I mean, it could be their own thing.
It's Warner Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, Six Flags is... Or no, I think they're just in partnership. Warner Brothers and Six Flags.
Hmm.
Six Flags owner or CEO. Jim Raid Anderson is the current CEO and president, chairman of Six Flags Entertainment Corporation.
Oh man.
That's how he looks. Yeah, he definitely looks like a businessman. Definitely looks like someone who just wipe a death under a rug, no problem. He's like, oh, that happened? All right.
Not to say all businessmen are like that. But you know, oh man.
My condolences.
But yeah, it makes me look at Six Flags differently.
A little bit, because it's like you kind of see the beauty side of it, like, hey, here's history and here's its remarks,
Here's
but
the
then you
attraction.
see the tragic side of it, where it's like it's not being acknowledged, and it
Yeah.
really is just kind of like, oh yeah, this is just extra. By the way, if you're interested,
Yeah. Yeah. They only they only give out as much as possible for them to like make some sort of revenue off it or some sort of
yeah.
advantage of it. You know.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't say they should, but we definitely should say like maybe a sign or something that's just like, hey, here's this infamous house
Yeah.
of this tragic that tragedy that happened in front of us, and it's just like we can acknowledge
But I do wonder
that
though.
person who passed away, and we can just she can have peace.
Yeah.
She can have peace knowing that she has been acknowledged.
Hmm. So you think Six Flags was built knowing that what happened to Eddie happened there, or you think they built Six Flags and then they started noticing something, and then the history tied together, or you think they already knew and built it there
I feel like
purposely?
it's probably both, because obviously ownerships change throughout the years. There's obviously never going to be a 100-year-old chairman, or
Okay.
anyone like that, or owner. So I could look up who the original owner was, like the OG original. So, but for the most part, I say it's a yes and no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I get you. Like in regards to the ownership, but I'm thinking the first guy that ever put Six Flags on there, knowing that a child, right? And who knows who else
The
died.
founder of Six Flags is Angus Wynn. Angus Wynn, a pioneer in the truest sense of the word. That's what they claim he is. The very first Six Flags was revealed. Oh, Time Warner. That means Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Corporations involved too. But Angus Wynn apparently was the very first founder of Six Flags. So that would be the era of Annie. So was he the one who decided, let's sweep this under the rug instead of let's not make this area a possibility? Because of all the causes and the possibilities of what could become.
It just seems kind of
Because during the time, because right now, we look at it like, oh, this is a ghost. During the time, that was a murder. That was a death.
yeah.
So how do they take a death that happens? In 2023, someone dies in an amusement park. That park most likely would close for the rest of the day, maybe a few days, right?
Right.
Back in the day, is it like the Wall Street system where it's
Mm.
like pass away, but oh, whatever, still we own it. Let's just continue with what we got here.
Yeah, it's kind of coincidental.
Well, actually, I do believe that Six Flags was built on the lake, because I do believe the lake did come first. The lake in Johnson, because the original lake was called, I forgot what it was called. I said it earlier, but Johnson is what it's called now,
Yeah, the Johnson
present
Creek.
time. And originally, if I can look it up here, Six Flags over Texas was originally founded by 1961 August 5th. So in 61 was the era where Six Flags came about, and the 1900s was the time period of her death. So, okay, it is the motive where they did build over this area, but now comes in the question of, did they know about this?
That's the question.
Did they know about this, and did they just decide to, like I said, ignore it? Sweep it on the rug, who cares? It's still a landmark for business? Or did they knew about this and they knew what could potentially happen?
Yeah.
Or knew what it could maybe lead to, like this history behind this area?
Which will attract it even more.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because during that time, yeah, it was known for mainly that death that happened. But nowadays it's known for Six Flags.
Yeah.
So around the 60s was the time where it came out. So I would say that would probably be around the times where systems were definitely corrupted as hell.
Yeah, and it's interesting, bro, because like
Wall Street level.
they're over here publicizing this story, and now like we're over here doing an episode on it. It's like they got us, you know what I mean? In a way,
Wow. We've been bamboozled.
we've been bamboozled, you know what I'm
Double
saying?
whammied. Straight up.
But what we're doing,
Fuck you, Six Flags.
essentially not saying to Six Flags, but
Oh, yeah. Over Texas. There you go.
we're just saying fuck, like trying to like keep that shit under the rug. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
some justice, but like justice can't be served with just words on this
100 years old case.
You know, but at the very least, just like
I'd love to one day solve. Maybe one day we can try to solve something, solve a crime or something.
That would be so fucking cool.
We'd be credited, or we'd be hunted. But anyways,
depending on how far we go on it, yeah.
Ooh, we could go far. I go very far when it comes to this research.
Bro, what if we end up
I was
like
trying to research the hell out of this topic, but in reality, Annie, because of how old this case is, and because of how like little to no detail she gives for what she's worth at the park,
yeah,
it's such a little story. It's a little just. Sadly, yeah. To a Six Flags, it's a side story, just an extra. Like, oh yeah, by the way, this is that.
mm-hmm.
You know, just they don't even. There's those train conductors, right? And they have a big microphone on their left side of their ear, and they speak out, right? And they speak to their audience. Why don't they talk about the history of what happened?
For real.
I mean, maybe they try to keep it safe,
They probably
family friendly,
signed a
safe
contract,
because
bro.
of the kids.
That too.
Family friendly, safe for the children's
Who
sake.
knows what you have to sign?
But still, it's like, why wouldn't they just mention, oh, this used to be Annie's house? They don't have to mention, oh, she died here.
Mm-hmm.
They just can mention this used to be the original owner of this place was Annie. Or, you know, her parents were the original owner and she lived here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I really like the story a lot.
Me too, man.
I would love to keep talking, but I think...
Should we come to a closing?
It's about that time, ain't it? Oh, well. Not gonna ask.
It was a good episode.
It really was.
It was a good first episode.
I will say this, though. First of all, rest in peace to Annie. I don't know your last name, but if I did, I totally would pay respects to your family. And, you know, just... Obviously, it was a very tragic death that you had to go through, and this is obviously an episode not only dedicating to you, but also a dedication to how cool you kind of are. Because you literally are... I like... an attention. Like, what do you call those? Like, when people come from around the place and they want a tour. Tour guide, you know, something like that. Like, literally, it's a great legacy. And it's this old... I just have to say, you know, rest in peace. And, yeah, I mean, I'll still go to Six Flags, but it'll be a little bit of a different feeling.
I get you. Yeah, I definitely...
A little bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was well said, though, man. Good stuff.
Yes.
Without further ado, surfers, I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight.
Woo.
This is Toxic Waves Podcast.
I can't believe it. We did it.
I'm your host, Lil Scopic.
Episode 1, Episode 2. Let you know real soon.
Ooh,
Peace
we finna
out.
start freestyling.